The number one question that I get about the Plot Watcher systems are, well, they don't take pictures at night. Don't I need a camera to take a picture at night, or I need my camera to take pictures at night? I think that's the point where most people will determine what camera they want and why they want that camera. Take it from me, as the guy who, part of the owner of this company, I use trail cameras. Okay, I like my trail cameras. They are an inventory tool. I like using them over a bait site, especially at night, so I can get close-up images of these animals and determine how old they are and determine what do they score and determine should this be an animal that we take off of the property this year or this one we should leave alone. And to me, that's what they're great at. That's the kind of tool I think they are. When you think about, do you want this camera to be an inventory tool? You probably want it to take pictures at night over a bait pile. When you think about, do I want this camera to be a scouting tool? Do I want it to help me save time in the woods to know that I'm not wasting my time in a dead spot, that I'm in position, especially if I'm a bow hunter, that I'm in that 30-yard sweet spot, that I know where to expect this animal to come from and I know I'm sitting in the right location? Then all of a sudden, the answers seem to change a little bit. If the primary purpose and your intent of using this camera is a hunting or a scouting tool, it's something that you're going to use when the season comes in, not before the season comes in, then all of a sudden that nighttime question seems to change, and the answer to that nighttime question seems to change. And the reason is we don't hunt at night. It doesn't do us any good to know when a deer is coming to a bait pile at night if he's only coming to it at night and we're not hunting at night. I tell people all the time, if you stop and think about it for a second, because we don't hunt at night, we must see deer during the daytime. If we see deer during the daytime, why don't we get any pictures of deer during the daytime on a lot of our trail cameras? Well, I think the answer to that is, in most circumstances, people are using a trail camera over feed. And you're creating an environment that isn't natural to what that animal would otherwise normally do. You're making him walk to a spot he wouldn't otherwise walk to because the feed is on the ground. I personally believe, after 30 years of hunting these things, I think that they're comfortable walking up to a bait pile and eating out of it, but a lot of them aren't comfortable doing that in the daytime. So therefore, a lot of our trail camera pictures are at night. Now, having said that, when you take our Plot Watcher systems out there and you put them in the places that you're likely to hunt, the places that you see deer routinely in the daytime, you'll find out that you start seeing those deer on video in the daytime, just like you would if you were sitting in the tree. I think the reason that is, and the reason we get so much daytime video on Plot Watcher cameras, is that we're not forcing those animals to do anything that they wouldn't otherwise do. All we're doing is videoing them in their natural pattern of activity, and the fact that there's no motion trigger in this camera allows us to see at such greater distances. It brings to light, you know what, you really do get a lot of video in the daytime, and you don't need a camera to take pictures at night in order to know where deer are in the daytime. The trick is, don't force them to do anything they wouldn't otherwise do, and just video them from a distance so that you got them in their, just in their natural pattern of activity. So I think the question really lies in whether or not you want a trail camera or whether or not you want a Plot Watcher type camera, is what do you want that camera to do? What's your primary purpose? And if it is to take an inventory of your animals, it's probably a trail camera is what you want to do. If it is to use this camera during hunting season as a scouting tool, as a hunting tool, to allow you to focus in on an area where a deer is that you want to kill and learn his patterns and learn his routes, then you want a time-lapse camera, and nighttime pictures doesn't seem to be nearly as important.